Okay, so today we are going to see the loop in Python, for loop in Python. We already aware about of loops in C, C++, and Java, but in Python there is a special way to handle the loop. So we're going to see the syntax of for loop in Python and what are the different way to define a for loop in Python. Okay, syntactically also and the practically also. So for loop is basically we know the use of the for loop. It's used for repeating something until certain condition is true. So it will keep on printing something or rotating something until the condition is true. If you talk about a syntax in C, C++, or a Java, so there is a common syntax for all this language. So like as you can see that we can print for keywords, then something initialization part we are doing. For example, integer I is equal to or something 1. If I want to print 1 to 10 number, so I need to pass initialization first, then condition, and after that either increment or decrement I need to define. So this is how we are defining a for loop in case of C, C++, or Java. So we need to compare our syntax, Python syntax with this language syntax. So from this we can understand here that all the three condition is a compulsory while working with a C, C++, and Java. That means we need to combinedly pass all of these three conditions: initialization, conditions, either increment or decrements. Okay. So by default, if you talk about a for loops, all these condition are comes at a one place. But in for loops, we have a three different way to define a for loops. Yeah. So that syntax we are going to see. For loop is work for multiple things. So there are different for loop for a different way. First, we is going to see the for loop for numbers. Okay. Very first part we are going to see the for loop for number one is a number we are going to see. NUM. Yeah. Then the second part we are going to see the for loop for, can see that string we are going to see. Then you can see the for loop for list is there, tuple, dictionary, and all that things. So these are the different ways for using the for loops. We'll see the step by steps. Very first things we are going to work with a number. Okay. When we are working with a number, so there is a function for working with a number. That function is known as a range function. Okay. So if you want to work with the numbers in Pythons, so there we are going to use a range. Okay. There are three different kind of range that we'll compare for this for loops. Step by step, we are going to see that things also. So now assume that I want to print the number from 1 to 10. Same thing as we are doing in C, C++, or Java. So in Python, how we can define? So let me write the syntax of the Pythons. So let me like print 1 to 10 is the program for a Python. Print print 1 to 10 in Python. So is it a number for? So we can go for the numbers. There is a range function is there. So that will work with the range function now. Okay, range is a function. Remember that. Okay. So print 1 to 10 numbers. So there is a way to write a syntax called for some variable in range, range, range. See, there is syntactically difference. There is a for keyword is same, but the variable in range. And in that range, we can specify that what we want to print. Okay. So there are three different cases. First case, I'm directly passing as an 11 here. Then as we know that we need to pass the colon, and then there is a tab space is there and the indentation parts. Okay. Let me print as a print print X. This is the first scenario where we are passing only one number in the range part. Okay. Now let's go with the second scenario, and we are going to compare all of this part so that that will be very clearly understand like how exactly it work. So let's go for the second kind of for loops. So by default it prints 0 to 10. So let me pass. Yes. Let me specify that it print 0 to 10, not 1 to 10. 0 to 10. 0. Wow. Let's go for I want to print something like that maybe from 2 to 5. Second scenario, I want to print the number from, let's say that from 2 to I want to print 7. Okay. Then what changes I need to do in the for loops, so that we are going to see here, like there is same thing for some variable in range is also there. Now I want to print from 2 comma 8. Here we need to print here print print. So variable I taken as 9. So it will print me the output as 2 to 7. Now we'll go for the third scenario, and that is I want to print output like print like 2, 4, 6, 8 up to 10. This is the part I want to print. Now what changes I need to do here? Let's now understood it practically. For loop is the same. For, let me take some other variable like for, and I can take in range. But this output is a difference, like where need to I printed 2, 4, 6, 8, and something something. So for that I need to start with a 2. I want to up to 10, so I will go for the 11s. And after that I want to increment it by 2, so I'll write as a 2. So this is how the syntax differ in the Python. So this all things are, there are three different condition we are observe here. The first part we are passing only one parameters. In second part we are passing the two parameters, and in the third part we are passing the three different parameters. So that all are a different ways to define the for loop in the Python. So now let's do it by practically. Also, I will explain the things that how exactly it works. By seeing this example, we are able to understand that okay, when passing a first parameter, then what happened? Then passing two parameters, then what happened? While passing third parameter, what happened? So let me share this screenshot also. I'll say it later on. So let me do it practically. Now, file, new. I will save this file in our folder. We already created our folder in the document part. That's py. Let me take a for demo. Okay, perfect. So let's start with the first scenario. What we want to do, we want to print 0 to 10 number. So that's why I taken a for loop for I in range, R-A-N-G-E, range, and pass the 11s. Yes, and just print it as Kiara NT print as I. Let me run this program. So after running this program, you can find we're getting 0 to 10. Exactly output we wanted like 0 to 10. We are in output also we are having a 0 to 10. Perfect. But how exactly it works? So basically range function can take one, two, or three different parameters. So by default, if you're now passing only one parameter, then the default FIULT default start with 0. It start with 0, go up to before the end target, like before 11. I'm going to see that before 11. And the second part, default increment. Increment is 1. When we are passing only one parameter, so its default start with a 0 and it's go up to the before the end target, whichever you're passing, and default increment is also 1. This is the first scenario that we have passed, and also we have seen the outputs. Now let's go for the second scenario where what we are doing, we want to print the number from 2 to 8 something is we are going. So P R I N T print the number from 2 to 7 or 8 something or 7 you can consider. Now let's start with the for loop. So for I in range, R-A-N-G-E, range. So two different parameters you need to pass because now we are specifying from where to start, and it will end before the end target. So I'll make it as an 8. So this is the scenario. Now if you print this number, you'll get the number as 2 to 7. So if you want to run, you can run this program as well. See, you can see it. You can go lesser also, like 2 to 7. Perfect. Even if I want to comment this, but it will error. Okay, fine. We can't keep the for loop empty. So this is false. See, 2 to 7. We have the outputs. Let's go for the third scenario. Before going for the third scenario, we need to define the syntax for this. And that is nothing but like description. So now it is not default starting. It is a start with the 2 because we are specifying the start position from where to start. Then go up to before 8, that means 7s. And here also default increment is still 1. Default increment is 1. So perfect. Okay, let me check or find. So let's go for the third scenario where I want to print the hashtag print print three different scenario that sorry, not this. I want to print like 2, 4, 4, 6, 8 up to this. So now I need a three different parameter here because there is default start is also there and default increment also we need to change. So that's why I'm going to use here for I in range. This is a common syntax, and all the magic is depend how much parameter you have passed and what kind of conditions. So now I want to start with the 2, so I'll go for the 2. My last number is the 8, so always give the one extra number, that is because it went before. Now, if you observe here, we are not passing any end parameter. So that's why if you see that default increment is 1. Here is also default increment is 1. But now I want to increase it by 2, so I'll write it 2. So let us first print the things like in I. Let's remove this. Let's check the output now. See, we're having a 2, 4, 6, and 8 because a default incrementing 2. 2 increment by 2, then 4, 4 increment by 2, 6, 6 increment by 2, it's become 8. So if you write the description here, you can mention that it start with the 2, go up to, obviously it is a before, what we are specifying before 9. And now the default FAULT default increment is 2, not 1. Okay, these are the three different part we need to keep in our minds while working with the for loops, and especially for the number range. Okay, range is a function which is basically used to define numbers only. Okay, write this also. The range function RAN range is a function used for numbers numbers in for loop. Okay, numbers for loops. Number related for loop you want to get, so you can go with the range functions. Okay. Otherwise, for everything like you are considering a string is there or list is there, it is already a group of data. So we can directly add for R in something string is there. So directly pass the string name. For R in, you maybe have a list. So directly pass with the list. So it will go with that list as well. Okay. But we have just started for loops. Like there are three different way we have seen. Now there are two more different ways are there that is related to a string and the list. Because firstly we understood the word about the string, and then we'll go for the string for loops and the list for. So Avi is also not here today. So you got this for loops, different way of for loops.
Yes, sir.
So you can practice this for loops. Then there are furthers are remaining as strings related things and the list related things. And also we are going to see some nested for loops, that is loop within a loops.
Yes.
Okay, step by step we can see, but you can practice this. This is something a new syntax, so that will take some time to practice. But once you hands on in this, so it's very commonly used and the mostly used loops in Python.